He's a shapeshifter always causing trouble for Batman, and he's currently one of the most well-known characters in the DC universe. Clayface is a complex character that debuted in the 40s, and since then, he's had various origins, appeared in multiple adaptations, and even at times when there were several Clayfaces in the comics. Stick with me in this video as we spill all the details about Basil Karlo, the first and main Clayface in the comics, who just made his debut in the DCU and is getting his own movie. Welcome to Comic Chronicles. Basil Karlo, aka Clayface, is a villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery, boasting huge abilities like density control, a malleable body, size alteration, super strength, hand-to-hand combat, and the ability to split his body into clones. There have been several identities of Clayface, with the original created by Bob Kane in 1940. In 2009, he was ranked the 73rd greatest comic book villain of all time by IGN, and nowadays, this villain has gained more fame thanks to his appearances in recent DC animations, and he's steadily stepping into the limelight as one of Batman's biggest foes. If you're a DC fan and want to stay up to date on upcoming movie, series, animation, and comic book releases, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Don't miss out on the latest news. This is the best place for you to stay informed. Smash that like button and subscribe. Thanks a ton, and let's dive into the video. The original Clayface was named Basil Karlo. His first appearance in the comics was during the Golden Age, in Detective Comics number 40, published in June 1940. He was a horror movie actor who began seeking revenge against those he believed were interfering with his career to the point of preventing him from being the star of his films. The character has made several appearances in animated series, like Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Harley Quinn, Kite Man, Hell Yeah, Batman Caped Crusader, Suicide Squad Ice Guy, and Creature Commandos. He's also popped up in video games starring Batman. He shows up as a boss in The Adventures of Batman and Robin, in Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, appears in Lego Batman the video game, Gotham Knights, has a special cameo in Batman Arkham Asylum, and is the final boss in Batman Arkham City. One of the most memorable moments for fans involving Clayface was when he appeared in Batman the Animated Series, but in the show, it wasn't Basil Karlo, it was Matt Hagen, Clayface 2 from the comics. What they did in BTAS was essentially take Basil Karlo's backstory, being a washed-up actor seeking revenge, and applied it to Matt Hagen, who was the Clayface from the comics that would transform into the mud monster we all know. Matt Hagen's story in the comics is a bit different from his portrayal in Batman, the Animated Series, but what's crucial is that the character of Clayface gained a lot of popularity after debuting in that classic animation. The visuals of the monster who can transform into anything became so iconic that it's the first image that pops into most people's minds when they think of Clayface. In fact, after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Basil Karlo returned to the comics and to DC's focus, and his look and origin were revamped to become who he is today. After years of inactivity, the original Clayface, Basil Karlo, created a criminal group called the Mud Pack with the remaining Clayfaces, Payne and Fuller, along with reanimating the deceased Matt Hagen, aiming to bring him back to life. Basil then collected blood samples from the other three to copy each of their powers and inject them into himself. But the experiment had issues, and Basil ended up gaining a gelatinous body, melting away and disappearing into the earth, while Fuller and Payne were taken down by Batman and the Outsiders. In the New 52 comics, before Basil became a monster, he worked as a mediocre actor, who was told by his casting director that he wasn't good enough for a substantial role. Looking for an edge, Karlo turned to crime boss Penguin for help. Penguin offered Basil a piece of mystical clay that would supposedly solve Karlo's acting woes, in exchange for Basil's services as a henchman. Basil agreed and received his unique powers. When the clay jumped onto him, it entered his bloodstream and rewrote the tissue of his body. His biggest weakness, besides materials that react with Earth, is his mindset, which Batman often exploits. Right now, this major villain has been adapted for James Gunn's DCU, appearing in the Creature Commandos series, where he first shows up posing as a college professor specializing in Themyscira history. But the news about this character doesn't stop there. There's a Clayface movie set to hit theaters in 2026, written by Mike Flanagan, a notable director in the horror genre. The movie was confirmed by James Gunn himself and will be part of the new DCU timeline, so it'll be canon. However, we don't have any more details about the storyline yet, aside from the fact that Mike Flanagan wrote the script, convinced James Gunn, and the film has received the green light to go into production. So far, there's no word on who will direct the film or who the actor will be. According to rumors we've teased in past videos on the channel, Clayface will showcase a younger Basil Karlo, probably in his 20s, and he'll be an actor. So, not a ton of info, but it's confirmed it'll be the third live-action film from the DCU hitting theaters. The first will be Superman, followed by Supergirl. Now I want to know your opinion. Are you pumped for a Clayface movie? Is he your favorite Batman villain? Write in the comments, hit that sphere, and subscribe to our channel. Activate notifications so you don't miss anything about DC and the new movie universe. I'm prepping a video with more news and info regarding DC Studios, so to stay in the loop, you need to be subscribed. Thanks a bunch and see you in the next video.